sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes.
Welcome, everyone. We've got people going to be trickling in here over the next hour. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen, and we welcome you. If you've just joined us, thank you. Why don't you do me a huge favor, jump on Facebook and just smack that like button. I always like looking at the likes on Tuesday morning. How about you, Dr. G? We like to be liked.
Absolutely. It's nice to be nice to the nice. That's a line from an old TV show. But no, it's very good. I have to say that in spite of the slow growth of my subscriptions on my Tell Me Your Story YouTube site, I'm up to a whopping 24 subscribers. You know, that's fine. It's early.
In progress.
It's still early. So I'm not bummed by that at all. But it's kind of neat when you see people saying, you know, I like what you're doing. They click for you, the like button. They click for me, the subscribe button. And it's just nice to know that, hey, people are definitely interested in and like what you're doing. So that's fun.
I think we have almost 2,500
wow.
on Facebook now. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's all organic. It's just like anything. If we sat and had a bullpen of people just pushing it. But I mean, I've got to say, I didn't pay for one of those likes. So nothing, it is really, truly organic. And what I love about it is being in this community as a Westmont graduate, and then as much as we all have done, because this community show is built on people that really have an investment and in this community.
That's
and
it.
In the kids, and the nonprofits. They want to support the businesses, and we all support the businesses that salute the kids, because that's really about the kids. And it's not until the Michael Bakers of the world that really put it into context about there's a big percentage of these kids that they really do need our help. They're at or below the poverty level, over 50%. So you don't see it every day walking around. Oh, well, because of course you live in Santa Barbara. But when you look at it and you look at how many kids are on the assistance programs, and then that's why we salute always the Nancy Weisses of the world. We love the Carolyn Givens of the world. Something's Good Organic, that go out of their way to really help the kids understand.
Fairview Gardens.
Also Fairview Gardens, that help the kids in so many different ways just get attached to the earth and the dirt, and understand it, because it doesn't cost anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get the education about the nutrition, because we don't want them going down that junk road path.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter how much
junk food.
Yeah, how much the lack of monies that you have. Speaking of Something's Good Organic, we just got our box again, and Dominique, you lost again. Dear 7. We received our first 3 tomatoes. I was so excited. I was laughing. I was giggling. Then
Beautiful,
I went out.
heirloom tomatoes.
Beautiful. Okay, what do they call it? Early birds.
So
what are they?
So I've planted lots of different varieties of non-GMO heirloom tomatoes in our garden. I started them the very beginning, 1st of March. And Early Girl has the biggest fruit, but I don't have any ripe tomatoes yet. So
we have tomatoes, but
Carolyn Givens beat me
again.
On the fresh potatoes.
Again, say it again. She swore. Okay, you don't understand. For me, this is good. There's no dishes. Enough. I don't have to do dishes for a week, because she forgets the bets, and I have to go pull it out, because we make a bet, even though it's a future bet. I write it down, I put it in an envelope, and I know I have the future bet on her tomatoes and our tomatoes. And God bless Dominique, we have over 20 plants in, and we have tomatoes. But Dominique, the bet was, ripe tomatoes. And yes, 3 ripe tomatoes in the box, and I did a whole canvas of the whole yard.
Mine won't be ready for another month.
See? So we're going to have to get with her and find out what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And, honestly, Dr. G, you won't have to buy a fruit or a vegetable here. We had a huge bumper crop on mulberries.
Oh,
Yes, our mulberry tree is producing beautiful amount of mulberry fruits, and our apple tree has a lot of fruit. And Erica, did you know there is a garden in across from San Marcos High School is the Goleta Water District. They have a public garden that has fruit trees. And they're trying to help people have ideas for a low irrigation landscape that's also an edible landscape. So they have a pear tree, an apple tree, an apricot tree, avocado tree, elderberry tree, huge elderberry tree, or elderberry bush that's so big, it's gorgeous. So, so if you want to see a garden in bloom, that is based on a low amount of water use, but it's an edible garden. You should visit the Goleta Water District.
And there's little pathways. It's kind of really
It's Hollister and Puente.
Yeah, it's little
cool.
pathways right off of Hollister. It's really neat. You can just park on.
You can park. No, they have parking lot. You can just park in their parking lot.
Park in their parking
lot. Yeah, and walk their garden, and it's all labeled and everything. So
it's really beautiful. And with that, well, I think your yard here has been their inspiration because the planter boxes that you had this year, 6 planter boxes, enormous, is going to be. I had a dream that we were going to have tables in front of the house this year, and just like a swap table.
It's a little bit of an investment to build redwood, non-treated wood, redwood planter boxes. But the idea is to make it so that our older population can do gardening without having to get down on their knees and so forth. So
there you go.
We're trying to have fruit trees that you don't have to be on a ladder, because the mulberries just fall to the ground and you can harvest them right off the ground. And then we want to have our gardens where it's easy to garden.
Yeah, so if you like the whole idea of getting fresh fruit and vegetables, they have different boxes. We're talking Carolyn Givens. We're talking Something's Good Organic. It is the real deal. We've been supporting them on the show since the beginnings for a decade now, but we've personally become
CSA members
for 7 years now. And it's just so delightful. First of all, it was really kind of nice during COVID because we had someplace that we could go once a week
to get fresh
to get vegetables, because they deliver. I think you have to go get it now, right?
She got overwhelmed with requests during the lockdown, and so some of us took it on to go to the farm and get our box.
And it's just a nice little visit, to be honest with you. You just go into it's an honor system. You just go into the freezer. You get to do a la carte boxes. Everything is so reasonable when you look at the value of your time. And she's such a delight because she's usually there, and the guys are working so hard. So again, love to all of our farmers in the community for getting us the freshest, most bountiful produce probably on the planet. And I'm just so thankful for all of it.
Can I ask a quick question, Ed? In all of your looking at the history of Santa Barbara, I know I've heard you mention the lemon groves, and I've also heard a little bit about walnut groves.
Walnut's a dry crop, so it was an easy deal. My grandfather grew lima beans and walnuts, which were basically a dry crop. So the lemons are not. Lemons are deep rooted, and they require irrigation. But lemons were huge in Goleta and Santa Barbara. Goleta in particular, walnuts were all over. I remember picking walnuts right across the street from the chicken outlet there on State Street.
Yes.
It was at one time it was a Sandman Hotel, and now there's a new mixed use building going on there. That was a walnut orchard, and then across the street where the chicken and Jack in the Box, that was a lemon orchard when I was a kid.
Wow. So we had walnuts, lemons, lima beans. I also heard that they used to grow watermelons up on the mesa. Did you hear anything about that?
No, I know that there was a fair amount of watermelon growing, but I don't know how commercial that was. I know my father used to talk about them picking watermelons and cutting them in half and eating a whole half of watermelon. So I know they were there in Winchester Canyon, but it was not a commercial crop that I know of. We had 40 about 40 acres of walnuts and about 60 acres of lima beans and 5 acres of lemon trees out there. But some of that came back to bite us, because when we tried to develop that land, we were in a water moratorium, and district, we only had a small water meter, and that was allotted based on the previous 3 years' use. And we were dry cropping if we were doing anything. So this is all the water you get. You want to build houses? Forget it. We're not going to give the water for it. So, but it dry cropping, and the farther back you go, if you go back to the early days of cattle ranching, it was basically free range cattle in the 1830s, 40s, 50s. And then in 1864, they had a severe drought. And that drought wiped out the cattle industry because they were not prepared for anything except free range. They didn't have hay fields and things to feed their cattle. That wiped out the cattle industry in Santa Barbara and Goleta.
I think Dominique incarnated from 1864. That's your whole thing, I could see that before the car. Yeah, that's you,
Dominique. You mentioned
wagon mama.
You mentioned something earlier that sparked my attention, was the apple tree that they're growing in this community garden. I always assumed apples were a high water usage. How are they treating this apple tree to make it low water usage?
Yeah. So there are some varieties of apples that grow well in Santa Barbara that are low water use, and they don't need freezing temperature.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I want to jump in. We got a minute, but just jumped into the house here. We got Mayor Baker to some of us. Okay. Some of us, the Mayor Baker of Buellton. I'm going to throw that out and get it.
Don't start that rumor.
So I got to ask Michael. I know he's doing a lot with the fruits and the vegetables because he understands the importance of that to our kids growing up. You don't want them to think that one of the kids thought that
onions grew in trees.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Tomatoes came from vines.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're talking about a 5-year-old, but anybody associated with United Boys and Girls Club, they get educated on multi-level. And in the house to explain all of that and the upcoming events is Michael, CEO Baker. What's happened, my friend?
Hey, it's good to see everybody. Sorry it's been so long. It's just been a crazy. We've been working hand in hand with the schools as they've been reopening and transitioning yet again from having all the kids here during the day for distance learning to now they're back at school and having to hire and get ready for the after school programming again and getting back in that fold. So it's been an interesting transition. But you do mention food, and we do have a program called Healthy Habits, which part of it is eating healthy as well. And one of the things that we were able to do this past couple of years is we've been able to build a brand new commercial kitchen at our West Side Club. And that kitchen is named after our good friend, Nancy Weiss. It's Nancy's Kitchen.
Oh, nice.
Healthy cooking out of there. So that's something that actually got put on hold for the last 15 months because we weren't able to do that with the kids. So now we're just starting to actually come out of that. And we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to do a campaign to raise money for our Lompoc Club to build a commercial kitchen in the Lompoc Club, as well as the leaders that renovate that one because that needs a little bit of love, that kitchen. And our downtown club is got a commercial kitchen too. So we're going to be doing healthy. We've been doing it all along, but we'll be able to do healthy food that's created here at the Boys and Girls Club. Not that we're bringing in.
That's beautiful.
So that's happening. So it's good. It's good. And then
that's excellent. Now I know because I've been out there. You launched it years and years and years ago. As far as the kids growing food, the kids do have gardens right at the clubs.
Yep. Yeah. No, we actually have garden beds at all of our club locations, with the exception of we still haven't put it up at Camp Whittier yet. We're going to be putting that in there. But we've had that in there recently because we actually put in pretty recently. Within the last 7 months, through the Audacious Foundation, Paul and Jane Orfala, gave us funding because they're really big on healthy eating as well. So, and ironically, the club I'm in right now, the Downtown Club, has the nicest garden of all of them. And it's been at least 4 or 5 turnovers of the crops that we've actually sent home with the families.
Nice.
Tomatoes, radishes. I mean, you name it, they're growing everything. It's all organic too. It's great.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay, now you've got a big event coming in June. I want to talk about that. Also want to hook you with Dr. D if you want to get some more commercial advertising about that. I'll let you talk about it, some kind of poker rally. We'll get all the details, but let's do this. We've got launched all new commercials. We've had a lot of new relationships that I actually want to, during break, Mike will tell you about that I think would be good for the club, that I'm really excited. People have reached out in the community, want to be a part of Teen Sports Radio, what we're doing. So let's get to all of that and more after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salter, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
Michael Baker.
How we doing?
Michael Baker. All right, tell us what's going on. Seriously, how can we help the kids? I know you're running around, but we've got some events now, and they look better than they did 3 months ago as far as an opportunity to really get out. And this is a cool one. I really like this. It's one of your best ones.
So I'm gonna catch you off guard completely, Erica, which I love doing. So we actually have an event this Saturday night. We are the very first in-person event in Santa Barbara County this Saturday night. We're gonna have 150 people. Our Carpinteria auction. So we're doing that this Saturday night. 150 people. That's the max we can have.
Beautiful.
Yep. So we're good to go. We're doing it, and that's happening this Saturday night. You can't even get a ticket, so don't worry about it. Anybody watching this, you cannot get a ticket anymore. It's too late. We got the
That's exciting. That's good news.
No, it is. It is. We're excited. People are really. You can already go online and bid. You can go to our unitedbg.org and look at the website and bid on the auction items already. That went live today. And so the event that you were talking about, though, that's a little different. We normally, in May, have what we call the car rally. We haven't been able to do that for the past, this will be our second year. We haven't been able to do it because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really feel comfortable doing that this year. Didn't feel we could do it justice, if you will, with all the restrictions and everything. It's just too challenging. So what we did do, though, is we do have a lot of people that are car enthusiasts, which are big supporters of the club. So we created an event that we're doing so far just this year. We're not planning on doing it annually, but we're going to be doing it in June. It's going to be a poker run. And the way that's going to work is you're going to be driving. It's a drive. And at each stop, you get a card. And then the driver and navigator that get the best poker hand with the cards that they get, they win at the end of the day. And there's a nice lunch and there's snacks along the way, and it's a chance for people, very COVID friendly too, because they're in their car.
Right.
People are staying in their car and not coming in contact with a lot of other people. The elements that are missing from the traditional rally, we're not having all the challenges along the way and people stopping and doing all the interesting events that they do during the rally. So it's going to happen June 26th. June 26th. And information will be coming out next week. We'll be releasing it. We wanted to wait till
you enter in a car. What is it? $500, $1,000 for the car.
Yeah, it's $1,000 for you and the navigator. So it's a driver and a navigator. They enter, and you can bring any car. Doesn't have to be, the top line car. It can be whatever kind of car you want. There's no speeding, of course. It's not a race, and everybody will do a staggered launch. And then they'll get to the different locations to get their cards, and then at the end we'll have a nice lunch together, and we'll announce who the winners are, and that'll be it. And it'll be nice proceeds to benefit the Boys and Girls Club, United Boys and Girls Clubs. And I'm sworn to secrecy on where the route is. I will not tell you what the route is. You will not find out till that day.
I have one question about the route. Okay, just one question. Okay,
sure.
Does it go by your house?
I can tell you this. And I say the same thing every year about the rally. At some point in the route, you're going to go north, you're going to go south, you're going to go east, and you're going to go west. That's as much information as I'll give you, Doc.
I know what the route is now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Funny. Okay, so what percentage capacity are we working with, Michael, at the club? Is it half now, or where are we at?
Yeah, we're about 60% capacity now. So we were at 45%. We're up with 60. And when we go into yellow, which hopefully is going to happen here soon, that will change a little bit. But the really exciting thing, Erica, and I know this Dominique is going to love this. Camp Whittier, thriving. So we got people going outdoors. We got schools calling us saying, hey, we got kids there. We got the summer planned pretty well. It's going well, but we always have opportunities there. Great place for corporate retreats. Beautiful outdoors. We don't have. I'm gonna hit you with my thickest New York accent. Okay.
There you go.
We don't have one. We have 2 zip lines. Two.
Oh,
You got 2 of them?
no, no zip line. Oh my goodness.
Capiche? Yeah, we got 2. So now we have 2. We have 2 zip lines, and the pool is looking great. The hiking and tennis courts and the low ropes course. It's Camp Whittier has never looked better.
So give a shout out of appreciation, because I know there are people in the community that helped bring Whittier back after the fire.
Tom Heath, Athena Contractors. Tom Heath took it upon himself, and it really is the Sunrise Rotary Club. Sunrise has adopted Camp Whittier for decades. They've been the charity. We've been the charity of choice, and they've done so many projects up there over the years. Tom Heath is the head of Athena Contractors. He took on the project of rebuilding the camp with the cabins and everything. And really, I was able to sleep better at night knowing he was handling this, because it was a nightmare dealing with the insurance company and just everything. It was just a nightmare. But he handled the whole thing, and true to his form, when the whole, he's a project manager, and, on a program like that, you can make a pretty decent amount of money managing a rebuild, especially that the insurance company's paying. He didn't charge us a dime.
Wow.
Didn't charge us a dime. In fact, made a very nice donation afterwards from his own company to support camp. That's Tom Heath. So Tom Heath, God bless him. You see him.
We love you on Teen Sports Radio.
Yeah.
Good man.
Woo.
Good
That's
man.
it. It's guys like that and ladies like that in this town. And we've gotten hit with more than just COVID, with the fire, like all the fires and the flood. And it just, we're so resilient because the city is it's a city that it loves. I don't know how to say it. It just loves from within, because there's people that just really appreciate what we have, because we have the privilege to live here. So I really, and it just attracts leadership. And like yourself, Michael, I've been a big fan of yours since day one. So
Well,
really
tell
appreciate it.
everyone how we can help out the Boys and Girls Club.
Go on we got the carp auction. You can go online. And then
Pretty well sold out. So that's not an area that we can get more tickets for. But the rally, not rally, excuse me, the poker run, that's going to be one that we will release it next week. And, we're not limited on how many cars we can have. We want to have as many cars as possible. We're thinking we'll probably get about 60, 70 cars, people wanting to do it. And we have a lot of people that are car enthusiasts.
you're only allowed to have 2 in the car.
Correct.
You're only allowed to have 2 people in the car.
Driver and navigator. Yep. Again,
You can't have 11 in a Volkswagen. No?
yeah,
Make it a real party? No?
Knowing Sal as well as I do, Sal is going to try to get a hold of a Boys and Girls Club van and fill it with people to get in this rally.
Exactly.
Okay, that's not going to work.
The bus. He wants the bus. A big yellow bus.
Yeah, big yellow bus. Yeah.
There you go.
You get a school bus, I'll let you go in with a school bus.
How about a submarine? A big yellow submarine.
Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. All right, Michael. Michael, we love you. I know you're a busy guy, but we got to take another break. If you could stick around, great. If not, I'm going to catch you I'm going to circle around, okay, and catch you, okay, real soon, all right?
You got
Lots
it.
of love, Michael. Let's take
Thank
another
you.
break. It's Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We'll be back with a lot more after these messages.
Well, now together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Together we'll stand, divided we'll fall. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand, every boy, every girl, and a man.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
We are back. I'm Ed Langlo, and I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold or an allergy right now. My doctor can't decide which one it is, so he's throwing medications at me right and left. But I'm here, and I'm going to do today's segment of If Only I'd Known. Today's segment is Timing is Everything. Now, I call it the critical path or the importance of good planning, but it's something I never thought about as part of the value of or what you might learn from playing school sports. But as I read a sports column from a 1956 issue of Santa Barbara News Press, it hit me. If you learn the importance of planning at a young age, you can reap huge benefits from it. Where learning good planning at an older age, you may not have enough time to do much with it. Sometimes it's just too late. So I thought this would make a good mentors topic. So let me go back to the beginning of why I had this thought. I mentioned a couple of weeks back that my older brother had played football for Santa Barbara High in the late 50s, and he had loaned me his scrapbook. The first News Press article I read in his book had an interesting storyline. Obviously, every year graduation brings changes to the football team, but in 1956, the baton had been passed for the coaches as well. Clarence Schutte had come back from the war, but he was no longer the head football coach. A fellow named Sam Cathcart had taken his place with Mike Meropoulos as the line coach. And they planned to trim the 76 candidates for the team down to 55. So here's a quote from that article. Cathcart has warned, however, that seniors will be the first to be trimmed. If there is a junior at his position who is as good or who has shown almost as much potential in the workouts, and I knew exactly where this was going, while naturally concentrating on this season, the Don staff also is thinking in terms of allowing promising sophomores and juniors to see as much action as possible, thus building up an experienced reserve for the following season, end quote. So if you're a senior that didn't start applying yourself until this season, you might be spending some time on the bench or in the dugout or on the sidelines. And that sounds a little harsh, but I think you'll find that life can be harsh. So get in the habit of planning ahead, being prepared for what you want to do down the road. When I got in the air conditioning trade, for example, I signed a union indenturement agreement with the contractor to work 40 hours a week and attend classes at night to learn the trade. And the contractor guaranteed me a job at certain wage increases and benefits. I was 23 at the time, and I was told I got in just under the wire because 24 was the maximum age for the apprenticeship program. And that was all the same logic that Coach Cathcart had used. They didn't want to invest 4 years training an apprentice if he wasn't going to be around for a long career. My advice is to apply that logic to your own life while you're young. Learn everything you can. Learning might be how to throw a good fastball or learn what you need to know about that occupation you have your eye on. But now's the time to do it, so you'll have more time to benefit from the knowledge or ability that you gain. Promise you this. If you look at your future, whether it's tomorrow or 10 years down the road, and start preparing yourself now, You'll be miles ahead of the game for it. I'm Ed Langlow. I'll see you next time on If Only I'd Known.
Hey, I love it. Now that's a good one.
And it came just from a small article that, and it's always the first one. I actually accused my brother of setting me up, but the first page that I opened, the first thing that's on top, and when I went from his boys club football scrap portion of the book, and I turned the next page to the high school, 1956, the first article I read had that quote in there, and there it is. There's my top.
I love about that because I always advertise inside of yearbooks precisely because of those, because it's like a legacy planner, right? And when you read it, it's the theme is the same. If you look at the kids' scrapbooks today, teen athletes, if you look at the teen athletes, I just actually went into my scrapbook because my kids called me out on my 14-0 softball season as a junior. So of course I had to show them the picture, the whole thing, the whole season, me in the picture, just to make sure how to justify everything. But it was fun reading all the quotes, and it was fun reading about what people had written in the yearbook back in those days. So yeah, it's a never-ending thing. We have Richard Ellsworth is in the house. He just popped in. He just completed his class. He teaches over at Braille. We're going to get back with Richard and more right after these messages.
Of Brazil, back in the USSR, way down in LA, every day, dancing in the street, crossing China too, me and you, dancing in the street.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m.
This is Richard Ellsworth from the Braille Institute and Mountain Sage Healing Arts. How are you all today?
Great. Well, I have something that I want to throw at you, Richard. So duck, okay? If you can't handle it, because you always like to throw something from behind the side. That's it. My little kung fu action. I love this. All right.
I just talked about protective techniques.
So we have somebody in the house right now. That's good. We have someone in the house right now that wants to talk to you and has a list of symptoms. And I said, whoa. Before you take all these meds, why don't we take this from a different approach? And let's talk to Richard Ellsworth at Mountain Sage Healing first. So that person in this house is, you might think it's Richard Dugan. It is not. That is incorrect. It is our own, if only I'd known, Ed Langlow. Ed Langlow has got issues, and we have to fix them. All right, Ed, tell them what's going on.
Okay, Richard. So, and I mentioned earlier on the air that having some issues. About 3 days ago, I had a little bit of a sore throat. And then it turned into a cough. So I thought, out of precaution, I'll call my doctor. And he said, I can't tell whether you have a cold or but allergies are going around. So he started throwing all these medication, prednisone, and all these prescription drugs at me. So I wanted to know from your standpoint, what would you recommend particularly for allergies, what would you recommend as a holistic treatment?
Okay. So the very first thing that almost any naturopath will say for allergies is something called quercetin. And quercetin is a supplement that you can get in capsules. It's a yellowish color. It's spelled Quercetin. But quercetin is also naturally found in high concentrations in apples, and specifically the Granny Smith of apples, the green ones. Eating about 3 of those a day, as sour and tart as they might be, even if you have them with peanut butter, almond butter, or whatever. But being able to have 3 of those a day, whether it's with a meal, cut up in something, whether it's as a snack, whether you bake it into something, will get you the amount of quercetin that you need. Otherwise, you can also get a supplement. So that's the first thing. Now, this time of year, nature always has our back, and it's really amazing how everything works. But this time of year, stinging nettles are available, and it's allergy season. So how perfect is that? Nature says, okay, it's allergy season. Well, I'm going to give you something during this time of year just to help you out because I love you that much. And stinging nettles are kind of challenging because you have to wear gloves when you harvest them. But because they will sting you. They have volatile oils on them, but they go away when you cook them or put them in hot water, or even just wash them in regular water. The oils will die. So what happens is you'll clip probably about the top 2 inches. You really want the bud and the top leaves. You clip it off and you can dry them. You can put them in soups. You can make a tea from it. And that will also help your allergy system, your allergy symptoms extraordinarily quickly and effectively. And how wonderful that nature gives them to us. And those grow all over Santa Barbara. I mean, they're in weed patches. People find them in the corners of their garden. Nettles are very common in hay. So if you go anywhere where there have been horses or a place where horses might have been kept at any point, there are guaranteed to be stinging nettles around, whether they're growing on the side of buildings or in a pasture. And they have very sharp, jagged leaves, so they're pretty easily identifiable. So those are the top 2 allergy remedies by far. Now, if it's not necessarily an allergy thing, but if it is more of a cold-related thing, surprisingly enough, one of the things that will cure it more quickly than anything else is more than a good night's sleep. So that means if a good night's sleep for you is 8 hours, 9 to 10 hours.
7 hours is good for me.
So if 7 hours is your normal, then go 8 or 9 hours. And even if you have to make yourself fall asleep or take a nap throughout the day, if there's a cold coming on, what sleep does is just phenomenal. The body just engages all of its organs and detox pathways all at once. Everything starts moving, circulating. Now, if you have blocked circulation, that's another thing. And with circulation, I always go back to the Robin Hood cure. And interestingly enough, the Robin Hood cure will also work for a cold or allergies because circulation is the body's cure for everything. If you upregulate your circulation, you're going to be fine. That's why everyone's like exercise, exercise, exercise. That's the cure for so many things.
Right.
But what they're really doing with exercise is they're supporting your circulation. So if you don't necessarily have time or the inclination to go outside and ride a bike or go for a run, what you can also do is take your feet and stick them in a bucket of hot water. And that pulls all the blood that's way up here in your head all the way down throughout your body, and it engages that circulatory system, opens up all your arteries, your pathways, and your body will flush things out really fast.
And that's
amazing. Soaking your feet does so much.
Is that the Robin Hood? Is that what you were referring to as Robin?
The Robin Hood cure.
It robs
the
blood
Robin
from
Hood cure because it takes the blood from the rich, which is your head.
It gives it to the poor, which is your
down
foot.
to the poor, which is your feet.
Yeah.
Feet never get enough circulation.
Yeah, I'll have to try that. And that's what as far as the exercise, that was my first inkling that something was wrong. Was I was finishing up my exercise routine and I didn't feel good, and the next day I had a sore throat. So that was that was probably part of the onslaught of whatever I have. If it's a cold, as I wore myself down and it allowed the cold to take hold. But,
and that's an important point to really know your body's limitations, because as helpful as exercise can be, sleep is even more important, because when you exercise, you're burning off all of that energy that your body can otherwise use to heal itself. So if someone starts to feel sick, believe it or not, exercise is the worst thing they can do. And people will say, oh, well, I exercise, I sweat it out, so on and so forth. If you want to go with the sweat it out method, have some ginger tea or put some cayenne on your food. But exercise is not going to be the answer for that type of thing.
That's awesome.
Good job. Good chatter there. I have an email, but I'll save it for next week. We got a minute left, but Dominique wanted to start off and ask a question as well too. Is it a Braille question?
Yeah, I had a quick question, Richard. How are you helping visually impaired people figure out which, if it's food supplements or maybe there's a medication, how do they identify their different bottles so that they don't take the wrong thing?
Yeah, so that's a really good point. So having a medication organizer, a pillbox organizer, is extraordinarily helpful, and this is for everybody. I mean, I take so many supplements. I need a pillbox organizer too, and the ones for the visually impaired, so they can feel what's on it, feel the letters. They're usually a lot bigger and thicker, and that's just enough size for me to fit the vast amount of pills I throw in there. But for the bottles themselves, I mean, sticking an elastic around them. Using something like puff paint, that's a sort of sticky paint that will dry and stick to the top that you can draw different symbols and shapes on. But also getting your medication in bottles that feel different is also really helpful. And as we get older, we tend to start to need to take more supplements. So not only for the visually impaired, but for the elderly. And then, when it comes to, I mean, you can never supplement too much of things that you're missing. So if you're not getting what you need from your diet and you're supplementing a lot, even if you're a teen athlete especially, and you have a ton of pill bottles, but you have to rush off to a meet and you don't have time to go through everything, to have those labels clearly on your bottle so you can just go, fast. I mean, it really makes a difference, being organized and labeling and just having everything in its place.
Love it. And kudos to the Braille Institute. We're hearing a lot of great buzz of everything that you guys are creating as far as the program, and then also identifying over 1,000 kids that have visual impairments. So, and then now working through the schools for them and resurrecting their teen program. It's very exciting. I'm really excited that you're at where you're at, and there's a bright future for Braille. So thank you, and thank Angela as well.
Absolutely.
So let's take it. Yeah. So let's take it. Want to go a break? Yeah. We got it. We've got more. All right. Nobody go anywhere. Got a lot more new commercials right after these messages.
You're addicted to love.
And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hello, welcome back. This is Dominique Hackett from Santa Barbara Wellness Center. And I have a interesting question, which applies to our teens as well as anyone of any age. I heard an interesting statement that when we hear scientific information, like if you're looking at the components of water and you talk about water being H2O, this is information. But when you talk about water and maybe in an emotional way, you talk about the idea of visualizing washing someone's feet. Like if you have an issue with someone and you want to make things better between you, you can visualize in your mind washing their feet and saying you're sorry. And what I found out was when you visualize doing something with the water that creates an emotion inside of you, that actually changes the brain. But the information, the scientific information that water is H2O, that does not change the brain. So what I was interested in getting everyone's comments, and Richard in particular, is how interesting it is that science is recognizing the importance of the imagination, and that getting our imagination engaged in our life and using that visualization technique that we can do when we're trying to make life better, that this has a profound effect, and it has an effect on the brain. Can you talk about that a little bit?
You want to go first, Richard? Because this is all what you're about. You're all into that visualization. You got 2 minutes, so don't clog up all the time, okay? But you're the young one here.
Absolutely. I mean, visualization is critical. It really helps things to sink into our subconscious mind. So as you were mentioning washing people's feet, I was seeing it myself, and I was like, wow, this is something I'm absolutely going to do, because, I mean, regardless of whether I buy into the water concept itself, just having that visualization, I can already feel it changing the way I feel about that person, so that person can then reflect the positivity back to me. So you can't go wrong. When it comes to water, I could talk forever, but we'll do that on another show.
Guess what? Now you did. You took up all our time. I want to continue this next week, but I have to thank everybody. Thank you, Dr. D. Thank you, Ed, Dominique, Richard. Support United Boys and Girls Club. Reach out and support Something's Good Organic, our farmers. We love our farmers. God bless Santa Barbara. Smile for the rest of the week. See you next week.